Hi friends, welcome back to By Town by Bike. Today we continue with day 2 of our journey from Ottawa to Montreal, starting off in Hawkesbury, Ontario, Canada. Now before we dig in, just to give you a quick recap of day 1, we braved the Prescott-Russell Trail from Anderson Road on the outskirts of Ottawa, all the way till a roundabout somewhere near Hawkesbury where we hopped off to escape the rain and the wind and get to a motel for some shelter and food. We spent the night at Stephanie's Motel, and the rooms there were okay, they were clean and comfortable, whatever, but the restaurant was really good, so more on that in the previous video. Now, Hawkesbury, Ontario is a significant Franco-Ontarian town. 90% of the population speaks French, with 70% or 80% being fully bilingual as well. It's kind of a border town between Ontario and Quebec, with the Long Sault Bridge connecting both provinces. Now, those of you who watched the day 1 video will know that it was a bit of a slog. Super windy, super rainy, not very comfortable conditions. So for day 2, I decided I'd forgo any type of gravel trail and stick to the roads, stick to the pavement. Leaving Hawkesbury, I took Highway 4 along the Ottawa River. There was great views, not that much traffic, and really great vibes. Passing through Voyageur Provincial Park, a good option for camping if you're doing the bikepacking thing, by the way, I turned south on Highway 14, then made my way east towards Rigaud on some back roads. Now, if you've ever driven from Ottawa to Montreal via car, you probably recognize this back road. I think it's called Mount Jensen. It runs right along the 417 just before the Ontario-Quebec border. From there, it was a quick jaunt south on Mount Wilson Road before taking a left onto Chemin St. Thomas, which brought me through some beautiful farmland east towards Rigaud. Oh hey, look, a horsey. Now, the weather was already way better than day 1. I mean, it was a little bit rainy to start off with and overcast, but there was not really any wind and definitely no torrential downpours. But as I moved towards Rigaud, the skies parted and the sun started appearing a little bit. Some blue skies here and there. I can't tell you how much this lifted my spirits. It's kind of amazing how these small things can affect your vibe and your motivation. I was comfortable. It wasn't very cold or anything like that this morning, but as soon as the sun came out, I just felt like, oh my god, I just chugged a cup of espresso or something, It also felt really good just to be rolling into Rigaud in general. If you watched the day 1 video, you'll know that it was my original destination for the end of that day, but I decided to bail and go to Hawkesbury instead. That's fine, but it only took like an hour and 40 minutes or something to get there this morning, so I was feeling pretty good. It was also kind of nice just to pedal through town a little bit. I passed through Rigaud all the time going from Ottawa to Montreal, but hadn't really taken the time to check it out. Just stopped for a bite to eat in Rigaud, and making my way to Hudson now. Getting closer, long way to go though. At this point in time, I still had around 60k to go to get to my final destination of Lachine in Montreal. Now, after filling up on some gnarly casse-croûte-style poutine at the Belle Pro in Rigaud, I headed east on Chemin de Lance, which took me through Choisy and Alstonville towards Hudson. Now, this section of the ride was a real treat, I gotta say, and really mixed. You had great views of the river, beautiful forested areas, nice little bits of agricultural land too, beautiful farmhouses and cottage-style homes, really great vibes. Now, aside from being a beautiful and artistic little town, Hudson's actually a pretty interesting place in terms of its culture. With 65% of the population being English-speaking, or around that, it's a bit linguistically inverse from Hawkesbury, where the majority of the population is French-speaking on the Ontario side. Now, as I continued along the Ottawa River towards Vaudreuil, I decided to pop into a corner store to get some Gatorade and get some electrolytes in me, and call my wife to check in. Now, the conditions were way better today, so I was making pretty good time, but my wife was genuinely amazed that I've made it this far. But come on, have a little faith, babe. Come on. For real though, despite having 2 pretty long days of riding, with the conditions being this much better, I was feeling pretty motivated. The Island of Montreal was finally within my grasp. Now, I've talked a lot about Ottawa's bike infrastructure in previous videos, but I gotta give it to Montreal in the surrounding area here. This is pretty great. This is pretty much the suburbs, and look, you got separated bike lanes on major thoroughfares, and it's kind of neat how the bike lanes are 2-way in this area, but they kind of shift from one side of the road to the other, depending on where you are. Neat. The other factor that was kind of unique to this weekend was that the bridge from the 40 going to the Island of Montreal was closed for the weekend, so all the traffic was being rerouted down to the 20. And as I made my own way down towards the 20 via bike lanes and paths, I felt that classic sense of cyclistic vindication as I sped past cars and stop-and-go traffic, making great time towards my destination. No shade towards drivers though. I drive a car too, and it sucks being stuck in traffic, but I gotta say, after putting in all this effort, it felt kinda good to be flying past cars. And with that, I made my way across the first section of the bridge and onto Ile Perrot, where I decided to take a little detour and go through some of the back roads, avoiding the main drags before getting back onto the bridge. Now, I still had quite a few kilometers to go, like 25 or 30, once I got on the island to get to my final destination of Lachine, but I think in the back of my mind, I kind of wanted to savor this moment a little bit. Finishing this last little leg on the bridge and getting onto the actual Island of Montreal felt like a real milestone, felt significant, especially after the slog that was day 1 of my journey. So I decided to pull over on the bridge for a second, take it all in, look at the water for a minute, look at both shorelines, and think about how far I'd come. Now, getting off the bridge into Saint-Anne-de-Bellevue, you go down these windy little ramps, and I don't know what it is, but I really like them. I think they just remind me of the staircases and apartments I used to rent in the Plateau. Anyways, provides the right kind of vibe. Well, officially made it to the Island of Montreal. Now to find my way to Lakeshore and all the way to Lachine. Only another 25k to go or so. Now, as I make my way through St. Anne de Bellevue, which is very pretty by the way and gives kind of like small town, almost like cottagey vibes, which makes sense because 100 years ago or so it probably was all cottages, I make my way past the McDonald campus of McGill University and onward deeper into the West Island of Montreal. Now, as I pass through the waterfront neighborhoods of towns like Pointe Claire and Beaconsfield, I can't help but be struck by a few things. First of all, the wealth. Holy some of these waterfront properties are gorgeous. There is some serious generational, like you kind of money on this part of the island. Okay, sorry for the swearing, but also the history associated with that is kind of amazing. I found myself thinking about some of these homes being like passed down from generation to generation of wealthy Montreal families back when they were like summer homes and stuff. And I found myself imagining someone sitting on like their back deck of their summer home looking at the St. Lawrence having a glass of wine like 150 years ago. Kind of cool. Now, as a big old jet airliner passed overhead, I knew I was getting closer to my destination. After all, airplane equals airport equals Dorval, Quebec. Right next door to Lachine, my final destination. I gotta say, at this point in time, I was getting pretty excited to see my wife and kid who were waiting for me at my in-laws' house in Lachine. Now, as I moved closer and closer towards the end of my journey, I took a minute to appreciate the great infrastructure in this part of the island along the shore of Lac St. Louis. There's great parks and bike paths, and as these guys passed by me doing like 35k an hour, I resisted the urge to yell out, informing them that I'd be able to keep up if I hadn't been on the tail end of like a 200k ride, just so you know. Okay, that's probably not true, but anyways, it's really just about riding your own ride and having fun, right? Well, made it to Lachine. Just on the lakeshore now. And I just need to go uphill for the last time to my in-laws' place to have a beer and relax. Thanks for watching. Now, if you liked what you saw or found this at all interesting, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing with a friend, all that good stuff. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and ride well, friends.